My husband accused me of cheating when I got pregnant. Turns out he was having an affair all along, with the woman I met at our party. I never thought my perfect life would crumble because of a false accusation, but here we are. My husband Nathan and I were the envy of our friends. We had been together for 10 years, married for 5, and everything seemed idyllic. I'm a freelance graphic designer, and he's a software engineer. We both worked from home, which allowed us to spend lots of time together. We were deeply in love, or so I thought. About 3 months ago, I started noticing that Nathan was becoming distant. He would spend most evenings in his office and barely spoke to me. I tried talking to him about it, but he would always brush me off saying he was stressed about work. One Friday night, I was making dinner when my phone rang. It was an unknown number, and when I answered, a woman on the other end said, "Is this Evelyn?" When I confirmed, she said, "Your husband is having an affair with me." She hung up immediately after saying that. I was in shock. My world started to spin. Nathan had never given me a reason to doubt him. This woman's words, though, stung like a bee. I was nauseous. I confronted him about it when he came down for dinner. Initially, he denied it vehemently, calling the woman a liar and accusing me of being paranoid. He was good. His lies were so believable, but something about how aggressively he was trying to convince me felt wrong. He then tried to say she was a jilted colleague who was trying to cause trouble for him. Then he said that she was a fan of his and that she was obsessed. I spent the night crying while he continued to deny any wrongdoing. In the morning, he was back to being cold and distant and said he was going to be locked away in his office all day so that he could catch up on work. Something felt so wrong, so I decided to investigate further. I checked his phone. Nothing. He had it locked with a passcode I didn't know. Then, I went into his office, and while he was in the bathroom, I saw a note sticking out of the book, titled The Art of Deception. It was a handwritten note. In it, she talked about an upcoming event they had been planning. She was excited to get away with him. I had the evidence and confronted him. He broke down crying, said he was sorry, and begged me for forgiveness. He said he didn't mean to hurt me and that it just happened. That was also when I realized how skilled he was at deceiving others. I told him I needed time and space and that I would be moving into the spare bedroom until further notice. This whole ordeal left me feeling lost and deeply betrayed. I thought I knew my husband, but it seems I was mistaken. It was like being hit by a truck. My brain felt fuzzy and my heart was a pile of rubble. I can't believe this is my life. Update 1. The aftermath of confronting Nathan was brutal. He alternated between begging me for forgiveness and then becoming defensive and blaming me. He said I had become distant and withdrawn and that he felt unloved. All of which is untrue, but he tried to turn this back on me. It was exhausting. I started going through his laptop, and I found emails, pictures, and other incriminating information proving that the affair had been going on for over 6 months. I found that the woman was someone from his gaming community that I had met at a party we hosted. Her name is Allison, and apparently, she thought our marriage was a sham. Apparently, Nathan told her that I was controlling and never let him have fun. She believed all the lies. He had been living a double life right under my nose. What infuriated me the most was the fact that he had said some pretty terrible things about me to her, none of which were true. I started to resent him so much. What I thought we had meant nothing, because he completely turned on me without an ounce of hesitation. After discovering all of this, I decided I couldn't stay in the house anymore. I called my sister, Sarah, who lives nearby, and she came to pick me up. I packed a bag and left, leaving Nathan alone with his deception. The last thing he said was to not do anything I would regret. I'm currently staying at my sister's place, trying to figure out my next step. I've started the process of finding a lawyer to explore my options for divorce. I spent last night replaying all of our memories and finding a lie hidden in every single one. The man I married was never there, and it's like I've lost a decade of my life. It feels like an entire person has died and I'm in mourning. The worst thing is that he hasn't even apologized for hurting me the most. It's just been about damage control. I never saw this coming. I'm feeling really lost right now. I don't know who I am or what I will do without him. He was my best friend, and the person I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. I will have to make it up as I go, but I'm finally on the road to finding my happiness again. Update 2. It's been a couple of weeks since I left Nathan and I'm making progress. The first few days at my sister's place were a blur of tears, anger, and disbelief. Sarah has been amazing, though. She's been such a great support system, especially since she went through a similar situation a few years ago. She has been making me feel like myself again. I met with a lawyer and started the divorce process. I want out of this marriage as fast as possible. The lawyer mentioned that since the affair was blatant, I would likely have an advantage in any settlement, although money isn't really what I'm after. I just want to move on. I was dreading having to go back to our house. I went back with Sarah to retrieve the rest of my belongings and to deal with some paperwork. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but seeing Nathan again was difficult. He was pitiful and apologetic and tried to say it was all a big mistake. But this time I didn't believe him. I had the clarity to see through his manipulations. I was strong and stood my ground. I told him I was done with the lies and that the divorce papers would be coming. His expression changed from apologetic to angry. I didn't wait for him to try and guilt me anymore and walked out. It was cathartic to leave knowing he no longer had any power over me. I felt so stupid for all of those times I believed his lies. That was the last time I ever talked to him. I'm starting to focus on myself again. I have been practicing my self-care habits like eating well, doing some light exercise, and even picking up some new hobbies that don't have to do with him. I've reconnected with old friends, and I'm feeling more like myself. It's still difficult, and some days are better than others, but I'm not spiraling anymore, and it is an improvement. I even went back to freelancing. I'm making money, not a lot, but enough for me to get back on my feet. It's weird how just a couple of months ago I thought my life was perfect and now I'm starting over. But this time, I'm choosing my own path, not one that was built on lies and deception. I know that I will be better off without him. The woman that I thought was a victim was just a piece of trash, and now they both belong with each other. Even with everything I've gone through, I'm starting to feel optimistic again. I'm finally free, and that's all that matters. I'm done being someone else's doormat. I'm ready to be my own hero for once. My husband accused me of faking a car accident for attention. Now my entire family has cut contact with him. What should I do? My husband, Ryan, accused me of faking a car accident to get attention. Now I'm thinking of leaving. I, Evelyn, 32F, had a minor car accident yesterday. It was my fault. I was distracted and rear-ended another car. No one was hurt, but both cars sustained damage. I called Ryan, 34M, immediately. He's usually very calm and collected in stressful situations, which is why I married him. However, when I told him what happened, he asked me if I was faking it for attention. I was so shocked that I didn't respond, and he kept going, questioning how I could have possibly been distracted enough to crash. I was not prepared for his accusations. When I got home, he was still in shock. After an awkward silence, I told him that my own husband should have been the last person to question my integrity. He said he was just asking questions and that I can be a bit of a drama queen sometimes. His words stung. I pointed out that I have a stressful job as a nurse, have never been late for my duties or work ever since I started in my profession at the age of 22. And I'm always the first to offer help to my friends and relatives. In short, I'm never the person to ask for help, and this makes his words even worse. He rolled his eyes and just left the room. After hours of just sitting in silence, I decided to try to talk to him again about it before going to bed. I told him how much I loved him, and that I never thought someone that I love would accuse me of something like that. He told me he understood, but that he had doubts because he'd never seen me in a car accident before and was just worried. I told him he was very good at hiding it, and I told him I still loved him. I went to bed alone. This morning, he acted like nothing happened. I felt like my entire world had changed overnight. I know I should be more understanding, but it feels like he doesn't trust me at all, and that breaks my heart. Maybe I'm overreacting, but it feels like there's a possibility this is not just one incident. Am I in the wrong? Update 1. I can't believe how much advice and how much support I got. Thank you all for making me feel like I'm not crazy. I know that I am not overreacting, and that what Ryan did was unacceptable, but I didn't want to believe it was that bad. After making that post, I made sure to be as calm as I could be in his presence. I waited until we were both ready to go to bed to bring it up again. I wanted to use a different approach, and I decided to calmly ask him for the actual reason why he questioned if I was faking a car accident. I did my best to emphasize that the accident was very stressful for me, and that his response made it even worse, and that I expected my husband to have my back. He brushed that off. Then he said he didn't believe car accidents really happen to normal people like us, that they're only a thing in TV. I didn't even know how to respond. So I asked him if he thinks I should be doing my job to help people when I can't even drive. He said that I shouldn't be driving, that's why this happened. I asked if he was going to pay to fix my car, and he said he couldn't since he needed the money to renovate his man cave. That was the last straw. When I went to bed, he apologized again and that he was just worried, but I didn't respond. All of the comments made me look deeper into things, and it turns out that the reason why he acted like that, it wasn't from stress but resentment for my success. And he even thinks I am better than him. For example, He thinks I make more money than him when he's a software developer, which is absolutely crazy because the income difference is negligible. It looks like he had some sort of inferiority complex and was projecting his feelings on me, but he did it in such a disgusting way. This morning, after going through more comments, I decided to dig deeper, so I went through his phone while he was in the shower. A lot of people suggested he might be cheating. Turns out he wasn't, but he had been making comments to his friends saying that I am a manipulative liar because I use my job to make him feel inferior. He then went on a tirade, insulting all the female doctors that he knows, saying that we are all manipulative liars. I'm so done. And the comments really made me realize that I have been turning a blind eye to many of these things throughout my entire marriage. I went to my friend's house after Ryan left for work. I think I'm going to file for divorce. Update 2. Everything feels like a mess and I am trying to navigate it the best I can. I did file for divorce. I gave him a call today, as recommended, and told him I wanted to file for a divorce. He was angry and told me that I wasn't giving him a chance to apologize, and I told him he was doing a terrible job doing so. He then said that I was just being emotional. I told him that he couldn't use my emotions against me to win an argument. I then laid down the law. I told him that it was my fault for not leaving at the first sign of disrespect when he accused me of lying. I made sure to make him feel guilty, pointing out his failure as a husband and the fact that I never betrayed him. He told me he had always loved me, but I laughed at that and reminded him of everything he said about me when I wasn't there. I told him that I wanted a divorce, and I wasn't going to change my mind. He kept trying to get me back, saying that he would do anything I asked him to do. In the end, I was exhausted and had to hang up. After that call, I changed all the locks, I had the house deep cleaned, and I took all my important documents to my parents' house, just in case. A lot of you are worried that he might become unhinged. I have been working at a local hospital for years, and I have seen a fair share of unstable people. I think Ryan is a narcissist, but I do believe that he is not violent. He can't stand when people point out how bad he is. So I think he'll probably cry for a bit, then find a new person to leech off of and manipulate. Some have mentioned that it is common for men to start bad-mouthing the person they leave, especially when that person is a woman. So I decided to come clean to all my family about it just in case that happens. I don't want anyone to hear his skewed version of what happened. When I told them, they were furious at Ryan. They all agreed to cut contact, even the ones he gets along well with. My coworkers and all of my friends know, so basically, everyone in my life, including my parents, have turned against him. When I told him that last call, I knew that he didn't know what was coming. So I guess all of my friends and family turned against him was the final boss. I will be updating when there are any more developments, but so far things have been quiet. I will probably give another update once everything is finalized. I found out my husband had a second family that he has been keeping secret for 5 years, and I don't know what to do next. I discovered my husband's secret second family, and now my life is a mess. I, 34F, have been married to Samuel, 36M, for 10 years. We have 2 kids, a daughter, Lily, who is 7, and a son, Owen, who is 5. We had what I believed was a good life. We both work. I am a software engineer and he is a lawyer. We have a nice house in the suburbs, and on weekends, we do lots of activities with the children, going to the park or the zoo, and all of the things people do with their kids. I thought everything was fine, or as fine as a marriage could be with the day-to-day of normal life. About a month ago, things started to get weird with Samuel. He started working later and later, saying he had more cases that needed attention at his office. I thought he might be working on some big promotion, so I just went along with it, taking on more of the responsibilities with the children. He became more and more distant, not even looking me in the eyes. About 2 weeks ago, my brother mentioned he saw Samuel at a restaurant downtown, where he supposedly had a late meeting. My brother asked who he was with, and said he was with a lady and her 2 kids. My brother said that my husband was holding hands with the lady, something he'd stopped doing with me years ago. I remember feeling completely sick and confused, like time was going backwards. I tried to talk to Samuel about it when he got home, but he said it was just a client and nothing more. My brother, as a joke, said he looks like he got a wife and 2 kids on his other arm, which I didn't find funny at all. My heart started racing and I felt really cold. He's a liar. There's no other explanation. That made me suspicious, so I decided to track him one day. The other day, I took a day off from work and followed him as he left for work. I was very careful, keeping at least 2 blocks behind him. He went to the office, then left an hour later. He parked in front of a house that wasn't ours. I saw him get out, and a lady, who looked just like a younger version of me, opened the door to greet him with a kiss. Then 2 young children came running and hugged him. I almost threw up. I saw them all go inside and my blood went cold. That was how I discovered Samuel's second family. I don't know how to feel. I'm still trying to understand what I saw. There was the whole house and the life and the kids, and it was so familiar but completely strange. Everything was wrong. I feel like the air was pushed out of me, and I couldn't breathe. Like I was falling down a hole that doesn't stop. This whole time that he's been home every day and going out with us to the zoo, he's been leading a double life and with another family. I'm completely ruined. I don't know how to move on from this or even breathe. Update 1. I confronted Samuel last night, and it was a complete disaster. After I saw him with his other family, I went home and just stared at the ceiling until he got home. When he did, I didn't waste a single moment and told him exactly what I saw and what I knew. He tried to deny it at first, saying it was just a misunderstanding and that I must be making it up. I got all of that out of him in front of our children. Lily, thank God, said she was going to go play with Owen, who just seemed confused. I pulled out my phone and showed him the pictures I took of him with that other lady and his second family. He went pale and was completely silent for a long time. Finally, he admitted to everything. He admitted to having another wife and 2 kids, who are just a year younger than ours, with this woman, named Olivia. He said he met her at a law conference 5 years ago and that they just clicked. He kept saying he never wanted to hurt me or the children. He then admitted to not loving me anymore for the past 2 years. I was completely heartbroken. The love that I thought we had was a lie. 10 years of my life with this man, only to find out it was all a lie, just a distraction while he made a life with someone else. I told him I want a divorce, and he didn't fight it. I also asked if the kids were his, and he said they were. I couldn't believe how casual he was about all of this, like it was no big deal. Like our entire relationship was nothing to him. Like I was just some option he kept while he found what he really wanted. He's completely detached from everything we had, like I was just a placeholder. I feel absolutely nothing now. My emotions have gone into hiding and I am numb. My parents came over as soon as they heard me scream and cry. They took the kids for the night, and then Samuel went to go stay with a friend. I'm alone with just my thoughts and the complete silence. I feel so stupid and naive. I still can't believe what I've been through and how easily I was betrayed by someone I loved or used to love. My whole life is turned upside down. I'm planning on finding a lawyer tomorrow. I need to make sure I get what is fair for the kids and me. I feel like the floor was pulled from under me. I need to be strong for my kids. Update 2. I've spoken to a lawyer and the divorce process is starting. It has been about a week since my last update and things are not getting better. The lawyer says that everything looks pretty standard on paper, but she also said that it's going to be a very messy divorce. First, my kids have been having a hard time with Samuel not being home. Lily keeps asking when Daddy will come home, and I have to hold back tears. Owen just seems lost. It breaks my heart to see them both like this, because they deserve so much better than what their father did. Second, Samuel has been texting me almost every day, trying to apologize and ask for forgiveness. He says he was confused, that his other relationship doesn't mean as much to him as what we had and what he feels for our family, that everything was a mistake. He is making my skin crawl. He keeps sending texts like, "I still love you, and I didn't want to do this." All that he did, he said to me in a text. The guy couldn't even man up to say it to me face to face. I didn't respond, I just showed them to my lawyer, as they suggested. Third, I've been doing some research on Olivia. She seems just as horrible as Samuel. Her social media is full of pictures of them going on dates and her referring to herself as Samuel's wife. I can't believe how blatant she is about it. There are pictures of her and Samuel all over the place. I feel so disgusted and ashamed for letting my marriage fall apart like this. After reading the comments on my first post, I'm starting to get angry. They've been together for 5 years and they have children. He was basically cheating on me for half of our marriage. And now he expects me to forgive him. I can't do it. I just don't know if I can. I don't even think it's possible. He betrayed me and my kids in the most horrible way possible, and he's not even sorry, not really. I need to start healing, but it's difficult when every single day I get bombarded with messages from both him and her. It seems like all I'm doing is just trying to hold it together. I'm so sick of feeling this pain. My lawyer also told me that Samuel and Olivia are trying to get a lawyer for the divorce, and they want to mediate, but I don't even want to be in the same room with both of them. They are trash and I'm done with everything. Update 3. It's been 3 months since the initial discovery, and I finally feel like I'm finding my footing after all of this. The divorce is still in progress, but moving much smoother. I found out that Samuel has agreed to all of the terms of the divorce with my lawyer. Most likely because he realized that he was never going to get me back. He didn't fight it at all, like his life was already over, and he just wanted to get it over with. So now we're waiting for everything to go through, and I get to go see him in court finally. My therapist has told me not to give him a reaction of any kind. I'm seeing a therapist every week, which helps a lot. It's a safe space where I can express my emotions and feelings without being judged or trying to be strong all the time. I'm realizing that the anger I felt wasn't really for him or her, it was at myself for not seeing the signs earlier. I'm learning to forgive myself for that. For the first time in years, I'm starting to feel like myself again. I got rid of all of the stuff that reminded me of my past life with Samuel. I gave away our family portraits. He stopped texting and calling as soon as he realized that he had no chance of getting back with me. Which means the only reason he was begging for forgiveness is so he could continue using me and taking advantage of our lives together. I've completely blocked him from every social media outlet, and I'm avoiding contact at all costs. I took the kids on a short vacation and spent some time bonding with them without thinking of our new normal. They seem to enjoy being away from all of the drama, and I'm slowly learning how to be a single mom. The kids are also doing much better. They haven't mentioned their father much in the last few weeks, but I'm taking all of their reactions as they come. They're very strong and resilient, and it makes me so proud. I'm not going to lie, it's still hard. But I'm slowly making my way out of that very dark place I was in. I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel and the possibility of happiness again. And for that, I am very grateful.